More schools in Victoria and New South Wales are having to close with coronavirus cases circling amongst students. NBC analyst Casey Briggs has more.
Well, as we've been watching, the curve improved in New South Wales dramatically. It's improving in Victoria as well. What we're seeing is that infections on all age groups are improving. But what I want to show you is breaking down the infections into a couple of different groups. First of all, the number of cases among people over 20 has been falling, and they have been falling faster than the number of infections being found among 0 to 19-year-olds. When you look at this as a share of all of the cases, 0 to 19-year-olds are making up an increasing share. About half of all cases at the moment in New South Wales are among 0 to 19-year-olds, and that is slowly trending upwards. And it's a similar situation in Victoria, which has been out of lockdown for a little less time, but these lines are converging. That trend line is increasing, and younger people are making up an increasing share of the state's infections. And this is of no huge surprise to us. It kind of expected that, given that schools are rapidly becoming one of the only places left that has a large pool of susceptible people to this virus congregating in pretty close quarters, it sort of stands to reason that you will start to see an increasing number of cases, or an increasing share of cases in that group of people. And it's not so much that younger people are at serious risk of having the sorts of serious outcomes that older Australians have. Certainly can get quite sick, but in general are not getting anywhere near as sick as older Australians. One of the big issues, though, is the logistics of running schools. When you've got schools open for in-classroom teaching and you have to shut every time cases arise, well, that becomes quite a big logistical exercise. And we're seeing the list of schools in Victoria and New South Wales that's closing due to close contacts and COVID cases has been, well, there's a lot of them, and they're growing by the day.
And what are the mitigation efforts underway to manage COVID in schools?
Yeah, so we've got a few hints out of the National Cabinet on Friday about exactly what the thinking is there. At the moment, the close contact rules for unvaccinated people are you are a close contact of a COVID case, and you go into isolation for 14 days. In schools, there are obviously a lot of close contacts being found. One of the things that they're looking at, and the Doherty Institute has been doing some research on, what other sorts of control methods in a world where we're not trying to eliminate this virus entirely. How else could you control things to kind of manage cases, reduce the impact of disease, but face the fact that we're not getting that to zero? And they've been modelling things like, no decision's been made, but they've been modelling things like, well, what if you put in rapid antigen testing and test every student twice a week in schools? Or what happens if maybe we don't isolate people for 2 full weeks? If they're a close contact in a school, perhaps they still go to school, but you test them daily. You test that entire classroom whenever there's a COVID case every day. And they still go to school, and you isolate them if they're positive, but that is much less disruption to the school community. So no decision really has been made there, I don't think, but it's something that is really clearly being looked at by authorities.